Let us learn extension methods. Extension method is a method that is written outside the class but logically injected into the class. That means instead of writing the method inside the same class definition, you are writing the same method in another class and logically injecting that method into the existing class. In other words, without modifying the actual source code of the class, you are adding or injecting a new method into the same class. You can add extension methods to predefined classes which are part of the .NET framework, or you can add extension methods to other classes that are defined by other developers and provided as class libraries. For example, there is a predefined class called system.string. It contains the predefined method called toUpperCase. It doesn't contain a method called toTitleCase. That means you wanted to convert the first letter as capital. So for this requirement, you can add additional method to the predefined class called system.string by using the extension methods concept. For another scenario, for example, there is a developer provides a class library for you. That means you have received the DLL file from him. You don't have source code of that class library with you. But as per your requirement, you want to add a new method to the existing class of the class library. Suppose you cannot contact that source code developer to add such a new method, and you don't have that source code with you in order to add the particular method. So what will you do in that case? You can use the extension method. That means you will create your own method, but logically that method will be added to the existing class of the class library. So you don't have the source code of the class, or you are not modifying the class definition, but you are able to add the method to the existing class. This is the goal of extension method. So adding the methods to predefined classes and adding the methods to the class libraries that are developed by other developers, these two are the best use cases of extension methods concept. In real-world development, different teams will involve in the development. Assume that team 1 has created the class library, but team 2 wants to add a new method to the existing class. This is the exact scenario where the extension methods concept is being used in real-world applications. In order to implement extension methods, you require to create a static class. Remember, you must create a static class only. Inside the static class, you have to add the static method, and the first parameter must be prefixed as this keyword. So what exactly happens is that the extension method, that is actually the static method, will get added as instance method for the class that you specify after this keyword. So you should specify the class or interface into which you wanted to add the extension method as instance method. Yes, you are creating the static method only, but the static method will turn as instance method while injecting the extension method to the existing class. So that is the reason you must specify the first parameter compulsory for the extension method in order to specify to which class you wanted to add the extension method. And since the extension method is basically the static method, you cannot use the this keyword inside the static method. So that is the reason the first parameter that is defined for the extension method will be used instead of the this keyword. That means you will access the current object of the target class by using the parameter that is mentioned for the extension method. In addition to the first parameter, you can add any number of parameters for the same method. Let me demonstrate extension methods. I am creating a new console application along with the class library reference. Adding class library to the same solution. Now inside the class library, I am trying to add a class called product. It has three properties. It has two properties called product cost and discount percentage. And let the data type be double. Now I wish to add a new method to the existing class called product from other project, that is from the console application, that is without modifying the source code of the product class. So inside the console application called extension methods example, I wish to add a new class. So right click on the console application project, add new item. I wish to add the class item and specify the file name as productextensions.cs. The file name can be anything. So inside this file, I am trying to create a public class, and also it must be a static class, because if it is not a static class, even though you created the extension methods with the correct syntax, that extension method will not be added to the target class. So add an extension method, for example, get discount, and I wish to specify the return type as double, and you must define the first parameter, that is along with this keyword, and then you should write the target class name into which you wanted to add the extension method. I wish to add the extension method to product class, right? So this product, and then specify the parameter name, for example product. So this keyword says that the current method is not ordinary static method, but it is an extension method. And the product class says that I wish to add the get discount method to the existing class called product, which is defined inside the class library1 namespace in the class library1 project. And the parameter name called product will be used instead of this keyword. Yes, as you cannot use this keyword directly inside the static method, alternatively you will use the product in order to access the current object. So that is the reason you can access all members of the current object by using the parameter called product. But here the limitation is that you will not be able to access the private members of the product class since you are outside the class. But except private and protected, you will be able to access all the remaining types of members. For example, you can access the product cost or a discount price. I wish to calculate the discount, that is cost into discount by 100. And I would like to return the same. So this is the static method really, but this turns as an extension method by using this keyword. So this method logically becomes as instance method of the product class. So when it comes to product class point of view, it becomes as instance method, but as per the product extensions class, it is the static method. So let us go to the program.cs file. So in the main method, don't forget to import the class library1, and also you should import the namespace in which the extension method class is defined. That is extension methods example namespace in this case. Since you are placing the program class within the same namespace, you need not import it explicitly. In case if the product extensions class is in a different namespace, for example extensions namespace, you should explicitly import this particular namespace in order to access the extension method. So let's import this extensions namespace in the program.cs file. Then only you will be able to use the extension method. Then create object as usual and initialize the cost as 1000 and discount percentage is 10%. But if you can notice, if you write like p dot, there is an extension method called getDiscount. In the brackets, it is showing that it is extension method. This is the extension method alias the instance method injected into the product class without modifying or touching the actual source code of the product class. That is the achievement of the extension methods concept. So we can call the getDiscount method and display the same. So discount is 10% of the 1000. So as you can notice, you are able to call the extension method as instance method of the product class. So this is a static class for extension method, and getDiscount is the extension method for the product class. So working with the extension methods is as simple as 1, 2, 3. Number 1, create the actual class without the extension method. Number 2, create a static class along with the static method with the first parameter as this keyword. So this turns as instance method of the product class. In this, make sure you have added the static class with the static method along with the first parameter with the prefix of this. And finally, you will be able to access the static method as instance method as per the object point of view. There is no any special syntax needed for invoking the extension method. But make sure you have imported the namespace in which the extension method is really defined. So the benefits of extension methods is that without modifying the actual source code of the class library, the other developer will be able to add extra methods or additional methods to the existing class of the class library. And also, you will be able to add additional methods to the predefined classes or structures which are part of the .NET Framework class library. This is all about extension methods in C#. The set of rules that you require to follow the extension methods is that you require to create the static class along with the static method, and that turns as non-static method or instance method of the target class. The concept of extension methods is introduced in C# 3.0 and also must be prefixed with this keyword at the left hand side of the parameter. You will be able to add any additional parameters in the extension method. Extension methods doesn't support method overriding. That means if you create an extension method with the existing method signature, it is not allowed. You can also add extension methods to the sealed classes, because extension methods is not the concept of inheritance. Extension methods is only applicable for methods but not for creating the fields, properties or events. The static class in which you are creating the extension method cannot be an inner class. It must be always outer class that is defined inside the namespace. And before calling the extension method, you must import the namespace in which the extension method is defined. So these are the points that you must remember for extension methods. This is all about understanding the extension methods in C#.